Hello, I'm Robbie Fowler and you're watching Redmen TV.
Great, I'm here with Rebecca Lowe and of course Robbie Earle, the superstars behind NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Rebecca, I mean, obviously soccer as it is obviously gaining an increasing foothold in the States, and last year, just looking at some of the stats from NBC, they saw the viewing figures doubled. I mean, what's it like being in and amongst it?
It's brilliant. I have to say, we've got a dream job. I think Robbie would agree with me. It's a lot of games, it's a lot of programming, it's a lot of very early starts because of the time difference. So we'll see each other at 4 a.m. in the morning, which can be not too pleasant. But it's it's a brilliant job, and it's a really great company to work for. And I think that the hard work that goes on behind the scenes has really contributed to those ratings that you're talking about, because I think a lot of it as well is to do with the fact that we're showing every single game. You know, no matter who you support, you can watch every single game every single weekend.
And as a Palace fan, that must be very impressive.
You just majorly outed me there. Yeah, it is. I mean, I probably see more Palace games than my dad does, and he has a season ticket because I get to watch all the ones away as well. So yeah, it's a privilege, I have to say.
Yeah, we do hear that. I mean, a lot of the American fans will be saying that they get the availability of Premier League games is phenomenal. But back home in England, you know, 3 o'clock games, we don't get to see them. You've got fans now over in the States who are probably follow the teams more diligently than people who live within spitting distance of the stadium.
What's really interesting, and you know, Rebecca and I work in it over the course of the year, that you get, I think there's sort of three types of fan. You get the fan who's got his team, has been with his team for years and continues to watch. You get the new type of fan, the new American who's found a team, and then you get the third type, which for me is the person who just loves the league, just loves the relegation part of the league that, you know, American sports don't have, that we have, like the transfer windows and stuff like that. So you just get some people who just love watching the games in the intensity of matches, regardless of who's playing.
I mean, obviously Liverpool will have contributed substantially, of course, to the growing interest after last season. I mean, obviously you'd have been there, you'd have covered Liverpool games. How much did you enjoy watching Liverpool?
I have to say, it was arguably, I think, the story of the season. Yes, they came second, but we talked off camera as much, if not more probably, than we talked about them on camera. I mean, the first thing we talk about in the makeup room, especially sort of from Christmas onwards at 4 a.m, was like, okay, Liverpool, and just getting different angles and talking about why they've the big change really from the season before, from finishing 7th, and it was great. I mean, for other than being a Palace fan, for a neutral like myself, to see a club like Liverpool with the heritage that we could really start talking about with relevance again was fantastic, and to see Suarez, and it was just great to have them back where they should be, and to have more than just United winning the league, and more than just 2 or 3 or 2 normally. I think it added something to the Premier League which we haven't seen in 20 years. I
think for people like myself, I'll exclude Rebecca on this one slightly, but I grew up with Liverpool winning everything and being the benchmark, and so for this new American audience, you know, Liverpool finishing outside the top 4 was probably the norm. All of a sudden they were back relevant. There was a story every week. I mean, without doubt for me, the moment of the season was Stevie G's huddle at Anfield. I mean, you know, me and Musto had tears in our eyes. We were both getting hold of each other saying, come on boy, what's up with you, sir? But so there was so much emotion built in that, you know, I think we were all privately hoping that they could go all the way, and we know how things ended. But no, it's a fantastic story and great, I think, for the game that Liverpool are back now and back competitive at the top end of the table.
And also I felt quite proud, like, because we weren't in England, we were so far away, and we're in a studio in the middle of Connecticut, and to see the passion on Steven Gerrard's face, it makes you proud of the country that you come from and the league that we've created, because the passion and the drama, and there's a lot of people that we work with who may be quite new to football, who were like, oh my God, we never see passion like that on the faces of NFL players, very rarely, and not on baseball players, basketball players, and we were like, well, it's quite rare for Steven Gerrard to look like that, but that's normal, like, that's football, that's English football.
We see that every Friday night in town in Liverpool.
That's true.
So obviously, I mean, what kind of following Liverpool got from what you've seen stateside?
I think the big thing for me with the Liverpool fans is the educated fan. I think one of the things when we first started doing the broadcast is that we were to be aware that we shouldn't dumb this thing down, and what you find with a Liverpool fan is a Liverpool fan knows a game, knows good players. You know, if Liverpool haven't played well, we can go on there and say, listen, Liverpool haven't played well today, and people would accept that. We didn't have to kind of butter it up at any point, and so I think what's happened because of the way that, you know, the league was sort of broadcast last year in great into NBC the way they've done it. Liverpool have got a growing set of fans now because people have really bought into what was happening last season, the atmosphere, that you'll never walk alone before every game. It was like broadcasting, and people really bought into what this football club is and what it stands for. And as Rebecca said, it's great for us, but it's great for English football as well.
There's also fans of like maybe a middle-aged guy or woman who maybe emigrated to America when maybe in the 80s or early 90s when Liverpool were the best, and they've. For them, it's been a very difficult 20 years in a country where people are like, oh, Liverpool aren't doing so well. And they're like, yeah, but they used to be. And now they're like, you see, I've waited all this time and they're getting good again. And I think the other thing about the club is it brings there's always something to talk about. It's got so much richness to it, like the history, even when the shots of Stanley Park, and to an audience, a lot of them will know Stanley Park, but at some point we had to explain various things. And there's so many great little nuances, this is Anfield sign, the boot room, there's so many things that we could bring to the audience, which you can't always do with all clubs. And it's a great thing to have Liverpool doing so well.
Our boss came down actually, which was really interesting. The guy who signed the cheque that paid a lot of money to take the rights to NBC. And I remember after the first Merseyside derby, and he came down and went, I get it now. He just said, I get it. And he kind of just summed up everything of what English football's about the derbies, about the fans. That, you can have two sets of fans sitting next to each other, but, for that 90 minutes, one's red, one's blue. And that was just a sign that I think people really start to appreciate what's great about English football and the Premier League.
And can I just say, I think it's debatable. The biggest story was probably Man United being rubbish, to be honest.
That was another very big story.
That was running underneath Liverpool.
I think we can agree that was a pretty good story as well. Anyway, guys, I won't keep you anymore. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And obviously, we've seen that you've been playing a little bit of FIFA with Jose Enrique. Has he got the better of you, or are you better than him?
No, he's just trying. He's just asking me so many times just to give him some lessons, So every time I'm free in the afternoon, I just give him some lessons to teach him how to play FIFA.